AIO. Shady bridesmaid hijacked wedding shower. I never thought planning my sister's bridal shower would turn into a whirlwind of drama, but here we are. My sister, who I adore, asked me to be her matron of honor for her upcoming wedding. It felt like a full circle moment since she was my maid of honor just a few years ago. We have a close relationship, chatting a couple of times a week despite my busy life as a mom to a little one. She's planning a grand wedding, and as her matron of honor, I was excited to take the lead on organizing the bridal shower and bachelorette party. When I asked her what vibe she wanted for the shower, she said she envisioned something elegant. Perfect. I was ready to dive in and create something special. I set up a group chat with the other bridesmaids, which included two of my sister's childhood friends who were sweet and collaborative, and one other bridesmaid I didn't know well, whom I'll refer to as Shady. Shady was part of the groom's circle of friends, but had recently become closer to my sister. We planned an in-person meeting to brainstorm ideas, but Shady was late. After waiting for about 30 minutes, I suggested we start without her. We discussed various ideas, games, and potential venues. I even offered to cover the costs, since I was in a better financial position than the others, who were still in or just out of college. They were relieved and agreed to focus on games, decor, and themes. When Shady finally arrived, she didn't contribute any ideas. She just listened. The meeting ended with a plan for me to tour venues and update the group chat with my findings. The following week, I took a few days off work to visit several venues, snapping photos and sharing them in the group chat. The other bridesmaids responded enthusiastically, asking questions and sharing their thoughts. However, Shady remained silent throughout this process. Then, during a visit to my sister's place, she mentioned that Shady had been over earlier that day. To my surprise, Shady had already shown my sister all the venue photos I had shared and suggested hosting the shower at a friend's large mansion instead. My sister loved the idea. While I wanted my sister to be happy, I felt blindsided. I had done all the planning and legwork, only for Shady to swoop in and present an alternative plan without involving the rest of us. I found myself questioning whether I was overreacting to Shady's actions. Was this really shady behavior, or was I just being sensitive? Should I confront her, or would that create unnecessary drama during this joyous time? As I pondered my next steps, I sought advice from the group chat. One commenter suggested that I bring up Shady's mansion idea in the chat to keep everyone on the same page. Another pointed out that Shady might have needed to confirm with her friend before making any offers, which could explain her silence during our planning session. I appreciated this perspective, but still felt there were opportunities for Shady to communicate better with the group. Ultimately, I decided that I wouldn't let this situation ruin my support for my sister. I was determined to remain involved as her matron of honor. However, I also considered stepping back from planning if Shady was going to take the lead. I had to weigh my options carefully, as I didn't want to create tension in what should be a joyful time for my sister. As I navigated this emotional roller coaster, I realized that wedding planning can sometimes bring out unexpected challenges. I just hoped that whatever happened next wouldn't overshadow the love and excitement surrounding my sister's big day. Let me take you on a journey through a whirlwind of wedding planning drama that I never expected to find myself in. It all started when my sister announced her engagement. Naturally, I was thrilled and immediately took on the role of the enthusiastic maid of honor, eager to plan a beautiful wedding shower for her. I envisioned a lovely gathering filled with laughter, joy, and all the things that make such occasions special. However, my plans took an unexpected turn when a bridesmaid, whom I'll refer to as Shady, decided to hijack the entire event. Initially, my sister expressed interest in a lavish shower at a mansion, which was Shady's idea. Wanting to keep the peace, I decided to reach out to Shady directly to clarify how this sudden shift in planning had occurred. I sent her a polite text, hoping to understand the reasoning behind her decision to take over. To my surprise, Shady responded with a message that felt dismissive. She claimed she wanted to do something special for my sister, stating that she had already planned the menu and that my sister was on board with her vision. It was as if my own desire to create a memorable experience for my sister had been completely overlooked. I couldn't help but feel disappointed and, frankly, a bit replaced. After some internal struggle, I called my sister to discuss the situation. She reassured me that she was happy with Shady's plans and suggested I focus on organizing the bachelorette party instead. While I wanted to support her, I couldn't shake the feeling of being pushed aside. So, I decided to inform the group chat that Shady would be taking over the shower planning. Little did I know, this would set off a chain reaction of conflict. One of the other bridesmaids, whom I'll call Sweetie, was shocked by the news. She knew how much I cared about planning the shower and offered to call Shady to get more information. I agreed, thinking it might help clear the air. However, things escalated quickly. Sweetie confronted Shady, leading to a heated argument that ultimately reached my sister. When my sister called me, she was understandably upset about the drama that had unfolded. In a moment of frustration, I raised my voice, realizing too late that I had inadvertently created a rift instead of resolving the issue. My sister just wanted everything to go smoothly, and here I was, stirring the pot. Fast forward to a recent family gathering where all the bridesmaids were present, including Shady. It was my first time meeting my sister's future in-laws, and I couldn't shake the feeling that Shady was trying to distance herself from me. She seemed glued to my sister's fiancé and his mother, leaving me feeling isolated, especially when I met my future mother-in-law, who was polite but distant. I couldn't help but wonder what version of events had been shared with them. Meanwhile, my sister appeared blissfully happy, but I felt a growing divide between us and Shady. I never intended for my sister's wedding to become a source of conflict. I just wanted to create a beautiful shower for her. Now, I find myself reflecting on whether I mishandled the situation. Did I pick the wrong battle? Was I justified in feeling hurt? As I navigate the upcoming wedding events, I can't shake the feeling that I've accidentally become the villain in this story. I just wanted to be a supportive sister, but somehow it feels like I've stepped into a political minefield. In the end, I've come to realize that my sister's happiness is what truly matters. I may have to let Shady take the spotlight for now, but I hope that in time, my sister will see the dynamics at play and understand my intentions. For now, I'll focus on being there for her and supporting her through this journey, even if it means sharing the stage with someone who seems intent on stealing the show. Let me take you on a little journey through the ups and downs of wedding planning, particularly when it comes to the role of a bridesmaid. Picture this. I'm the maid of honor for my sister's upcoming wedding, which should be a joyous occasion. However, there's a twist in the tale that involves a certain bridesmaid I like to call Shady. Now, Shady is not just any bridesmaid. She's a friend of my sister's who seems to have taken it upon herself to hijack the wedding shower planning. I mean, who doesn't love a little drama on what's supposed to be a fun day? It all started when I noticed that Shady was making decisions and taking charge without consulting me or my sister. It felt like I was being sidelined in my own role, and let me tell you, that didn't sit well with me. As the maid of honor, I wanted to be involved in every aspect of the planning. After all, this is my sister's big day, and I want to make it special for her. But Shady had other ideas. She was all about making the shower her own little event, and I was left feeling frustrated and a bit hurt. It was as if my sister's friend was trying to overshadow my role, and I couldn't help but feel like I was being dismissed. I decided to take a step back and observe the situation. I thought to myself, just give Shady enough rope, and she'll hang herself, so to speak. I knew that biting my tongue would be hard, but I wanted to be there for my sister when she needed me. After all, wedding planning can be incredibly stressful, and I didn't want to add to the chaos. In the midst of all this, I found myself reflecting on my sister's relationship with Shady. It seemed like she was prioritizing her friend over her own sister, and that stung. I had to remind myself that there might be more going on behind the scenes than I was aware of. Maybe Shady had been talking to my sister and her fiancé, and they were all on the same page about the shower. Who knows? Despite my frustrations, I decided that I wouldn't step down from being the maid of honor. I love my sister, and I wanted to support her through this whirlwind of wedding planning. I figured that if I kept my cool and focused on what really mattered, I could help make her day as special as possible. I even thought about how I would handle the bachelorette party. I would have preferred Shady to take charge of that, instead of the shower. With a little one at home, my sleep has become precious, and I'm not as keen on late-night outings as I used to be. But I was determined to keep up with my sister and her friends, no matter what it took. Coffee, energy drinks, whatever I needed to stay awake and enjoy the festivities. As I navigated this tricky situation, I realized that I needed to give my sister some grace. Wedding planning is overwhelming, and I didn't want to add to her stress. So, I decided to be polite and supportive, even when it felt like Shady was trying to steal the spotlight. In the end, I knew that my sister's happiness was what mattered most. I just hoped that Shady would eventually show her true colors, and I could step back into my rightful place as the supportive sister. After all, family is what it's all about, and I was determined to make this wedding a beautiful celebration, no matter the drama along the way.